Hi everybody, Vanquished Angel here, and today I'm going to be doing another swap tutorial. This one's going to be a swap file. A lot of Linuxes have moved over from using a special partition on the hard drive for swap to using a swap file. So we're going to cover how to do that version as well. And let's see here. So we need to open up our command line because I'm going to do the command line version. There is a program, I think called Fallout or something, that does it for you, but really it's not any more complicated or less complicated than this is. So we're going to copy this command. Now what this command is sudo. Obviously we're going to need sudo, and then dd, which is a disk program that is included in just about every Linux in existence. It's usually there. It's command line disk writing program. And then if the dev0, and then I believe that's the input file, and then that's the output file. Well, I know that's the input file. So basically it's going to write a bunch of zeros and cover up a certain amount of space. And so the output file is going to be the /swap file. And then this is going to be your block size, which is in this case going to be 1 gig, and this is the count of blocks, which is 4. But I'm going to reduce that. I'm going to reduce it to 1. So, and then I'm going to hit enter, and then you're going to have to put in your password, because this is going to install it on the root part of your hard drive. So we're going to hit enter, and we're going to wait a little bit of time for it to make the file and write the zeros. It's not going to be very long. It just takes a little bit. Alright, so now it's done, and it wrote at about 94.8 megabytes per second. So now we're going to open up the root part of our computer, which is just that slash, and in here should be a swap file. And there it is. There's the swap file. And that should be about 1 gigabyte, and there it is. So this is in the root of your hard drive. And now, I'm going to shrink that down. So now we're going to double check its right permissions here. Make sure all the permissions are proper. You don't really need to do this step, but it's good to do. There. And then this tells you that it's read and writable, but then there's a couple other read permissions in here, and you don't want that. That means that other programs or that other users other than root can read what's in your memory, basically, so we want to stop that from happening. So we're going to use chmod, and then this number code here, 600, which will basically only allow root to read and write from there. And so then we're going to enter in that old command again, this one here, to double check. You can use the arrow key if you're still in the same terminal, and then hit enter, and notice that these R's are gone. That's much more secure, much safer for your information and stuff. Then we're going to make it into a swap file. This basically formats that file into a swap. So we're going to hit enter, and then there it is. And it even has a UUID. This can be kept. And then you can turn the swap on. Copy. So I'm not going to turn the swap on because I have plenty of swap, but that would be the command sudo, and then the swap on, and then it tells it to use this file as swap. This is temporary and will only last until the computer is rebooted. And then to make that permanent, let's say we wanted to make that swap file more permanent, we're going to have to edit our fstab or fstab file, and right down here. Now there's multiple ways you can do this. You can enter the UUID, which is what I would recommend. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put swap file, then hit enter. Then we can just put the UUID in there, right? Then we put this stuff right after it. And you can also enter a priority. This PRI equals 100 is priority level 100. The higher the priority, the higher it is to be used first. So you can actually prioritize different swap spaces, which ones you want used first and which ones you want used last. So in this case, these ones are ones that I did on a separate device, which is also a good idea, and this swap file tutorial can be used for that as well. Creating a swap file on a different device or different storage area actually can speed up performance immensely. So in my case, I use compact flashcards and a RAID controller in a PCI slot in the back of my computer for my swap. Yes, there's definitely an improvement to doing that, because if you put it on a different device, it doesn't have that two-way traffic. So let's say you're reading from your hard drive, like video editing, and it's storing in RAM and you need more space and it's starting to swap out. It's going to have to go back to that hard drive to write it to that hard disk that you're also reading from. If you do it to a separate device, it can actually boost performance considerably. So this is one way of doing that and using the UUID, which is what I would recommend. However, that's not the only way to do it. The old school way was to use a file path. Now this can be useful for what I've said. In using a different device. Oh, and I keep screwing things up here. So let's say you can still use the UUID on a different device, but you can also use a file path. Paste. And that will do the same. That looks more normal there. And that will do the same thing. So, and then this is the file path to my hard drive, that / and then swap file. So that's how that works. Now, let's go back here. So, and then that's how you write that in. Now I'm going to remove it because I do not actually need it, because as you see I have others. So I'm going to click no. Now, but I still have that swap file there. I'm going to just type this in. And I'm going to go back and then forward, and notice the swap file is gone. Alright, so hopefully this helps you. Modern day Linux distributions are starting to use swap files as opposed to partitioning the disk. I'm still particular to partitioning, but I guess they have their reason, and might even be more helpful when you have flash, like a solid state disk. Alright, thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.